Hey everybody, this is John from JonLoomer.com and Jon Loomer Digital on Facebook. Here with another edition of my weekly video blog where I answer as many of your questions as I can within about 10 minutes if I can squeeze it in there. So just a quick reminder, if you don't like my page already, Jon Loomer Digital, make sure you do. Every Wednesday-ish, I'll put out a post that says ask me anything like this one. And that's your chance to provide a comment and I'll answer as many of these as I can. So I got a bunch of questions today, a lot of good ones. Kind of give you an idea of what I'm going to answer. Some of these are complex questions that I just can't cover in a short amount of time. And in some cases, they're complex, but I've written about them before. So I'll try to quickly give you an answer and send you to my blog post where I've written about it. In other cases, unfortunately, I just won't be able to answer your question. So keep that in mind. All right, let's start from the top. Zach asks, did you ever cover buying likes? Yes, I did, Zach. As you can imagine, I am not a fan. There's so many reasons why this is a horrible, horrible idea. First of all, it's unethical. Second of all, you're deceiving the public, trying to make it look like you have more of an audience than you do in an effort to attract more people. That is essentially the motivation behind doing it, is not necessarily that you have this new audience you can hit. It's that people think you're cool, so they then like your page. Lame. But the thing that no one really talks about, and again, this is covered in this blog post that I wrote, is that it kills your edge rank. Like if you've got, you want to have a certain percentage of people interacting with your content. If a whole bunch of them are either fake people or people who are paid to like your page, you're not going to interact with your stuff. All right? And that's going to kill your percentage, which kills your edge rank, which means Facebook isn't going to show your stuff that people actually care. And then the fact that these pages are starting to be exposed. Do you want to be one of those companies, one of those brands that is exposed for having purchased your likes? Nothing I want to be involved with. So make sure you read my blog post on that. All right. Daniel asks, how do I set up Power Editor? How do I track ads, track pixel on sponsored stories? Looking forward to the video. Kind of a complex question here. So again, I drive you to a tutorial that I wrote on how to set up Power Editor. The offsite pixel, once again, you want to check out a blog post I wrote on how you can set that up. So essentially what he's asking there is, first of all, Power Editor is a great tool to create your ads. It's a free tool, Chrome plugin. And the reason why it's great is because there are options within it that aren't available within the main Facebook ad manager. Okay. Second of all, he's talking about offsite pixel that you could put within your landing pages. So when you're driving people from a Facebook ad to a landing page to buy something or fill out a form or something, you want to be able to track actual conversions, and that's what that does. So I've written a blog post on that too. So if you don't see the links to this within the notes here, make sure you check the bottom of my blog post. Alessandro has a really good question, and in a way this is related to Daniel's last one. What's a good CTR for an ad? Is this a good indicator of a successful ad? What is the appropriate frequency for an ad? So multiple questions here. How much is too much and how much is too little? Lots of questions here. First of all, CTR. First of all, it really depends on the goals of your ad, okay? But second of all, ultimately, the CTR should not be determining success or failure. It may be an indicator of whether or not an ad is performing. But the mistake many people make is they'll even be split testing and have like 10 ads, right? And they will look through and say, okay, which ad's performing, which isn't, and they'll stop the ones with low CTR and keep the ones going with high CTR. The thing that people are missing there is that often, especially when you use optimized CPM, the price is significantly different for some of those ads. So you might have some that are an optimized CPM of 50 cents per 1,000 impressions. You might have some that are over $10. And it's crazy and it happens. But you won't know what's truly so once again, going back to the offsite pixel, the click often isn't what is most valuable to you. It really depends on what you're looking for. It could be the action, right? Usually it's going to be the action. So if you're doing a promoted post, you want to collect the number of likes, comments, shares, etc. That's going to fall within the action. If you're doing a page like type sponsored story, you want the action to be number of people who've liked your page as a result. So you want to find out what's the total cost divided by the number of actions. And it could also be conversions. That's why I was going back to the offsite pixel thing. You could have all kinds of clicks, but how many actual conversions did you have? Okay, so that's why you need to figure that out. And again, the other ad that I do a lot of is a domain sponsored story. And that's the exact same thing. I look, how much am I spending per link click, which is the action that they follow on that one. Okay. So to me, that is the most important stat. CTR is an indicator, but it's not determining success or failure of your ad. And many people miss that. Appropriate frequency. Again, this depends on the type of ad. If you're doing a newsfeed ad, I try to avoid ever hitting people more than once. It's on the sidebar. Have at it, man. But track it. Eventually, the performance will go down, and just keep an eye on that. That's what I would suggest. Okay, Courtney asks, thanks again for taking our questions, John. You're welcome, Courtney. I am curious to know how many people have been granted access to graph search and some examples of it. Courtney. I am not happy about this. It has been 5 weeks. I put in my request for the beta during the presentation, the announcement of graph search. I still do not have it. 2 weeks after it was announced, I was sick of it. I said, hey, I'm going to request it from my wife's account. She just got it yesterday. It's so ridiculous. So I started messing with it a little bit on hers. But yeah, I can't speak too much firsthand knowledge of it. That said, I've written a few posts way back when, 5 weeks ago, on what I think businesses can do with it, and as well as what some of the experts think. So make sure you check a couple of those links as well that I have. Robert asks, in your experience, what is the best way to persuade reluctant clients to invest in Facebook content and proper marketing strategies? Excellent question, Robert. Honestly, the best way to do this is simply show the higher up, whoever it is, or client, their competitor. A competitor that's doing it well. A competitor that is obviously benefiting from it. All right. You show them that they want to compete. They will not allow that to happen. You show them their page and how terrible it is, if they even have one. Show them how hard it is to find them. Show that if they have a local business and you've got Facebook and you want to find a local business so you can't even find their business, or that if you can, that it's got terrible reviews, or just the way it appears, in the list compared to their competitors. That is ultimately the best way to convince a client that they need to use Facebook, is just show what the competitors are doing. All right, Colin asks, what would you say is the best skill in a marketer's repertoire, e.g. design, copywriting, spotting trends, etc.? Versatility, my man. Versatility. You cannot, and this is my opinion, all right? So I'm not a classically trained marketer myself, but I've just found that over the last 17 months or so, and really when I look back at my marketing career, because again, I didn't study marketing, but I've just become a marketer. I didn't even realize I was a marketer when in the middle of this. And then I applied for a job that was a VP of marketing, and I was like, why would I'm not, there's no reason I should be applying for this. But when I started thinking about it, I actually was a marketer. But versatility, you can't be an expert at everything, but you should be good and knowledgeable and at least usable at many, many different things. So that versatility, that willingness to change and adapt, I think that's biggest for marketers, especially as things change so rapidly with Facebook, and then new things come along like Pinterest and and Vine and all these things. To me, that's the most important. All right, I think that's gonna be it for today. Thanks again, everybody, for your questions. Make sure that you check out my YouTube page, my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you can, so you don't miss any of these videos in the future, because not only will I have the weekly video blog, but I'll occasionally squeeze in a tutorial of some sort, and you just don't want to miss that. All right. So I hope this helps, and if I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. Just keep on trying, okay? So until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.